I've been doing a pretty extensive tattoo rehabilitation process that involved touching up a bunch of 25-year-old tattoos and then also getting new work done on my back. So under the process of these hours of being underneath the needle, I've had a lot of time to ruminate on pain and pain management techniques, and decided to do a series of Instagram Lives talking about exactly that. How our body interprets pain, the different types of it, and techniques that we can use to manage it. So we're going to start today with how our body receives pain, the different types of it. First of all, a word for you to learn, it's nociception. So ceptions are how our nervous system perceives the state of our body and the world around us. Examples of ceptions could be proprioception, perception, interoception. There are a number of them. In general, this is an unconscious response. When we're aware of something, it turns into a kinesthetic response. Let's return to nociception. So because pain is generally a signal around danger, nociception is a very rapid nervous system response to a stimulus. It usually involves something that the brain, the conscious mind, doesn't even take part in. So for example, when you put your hand on a hot burner and it retracts before you're even aware of the fact that you got burned, that's because that pain signal was actually something that was more inside of your spinal cord than up in your conscious mind. There are two different types of receptors that work with pain. There are A-type receptors and C-type receptors. Now we're talking about the ends of a nerve line and how that nerve line connects through your body, where it goes, kind of like different types of highways or different types of subway lines throughout your system. So A-type receptors are very rapid. They're myelinated, which means there's a myelin sheath, a protective covering around that nerve cable. And that allows the signals to travel very rapidly all the way to the brain and back. So when we put our hand on a burner, when it retracts quickly, or when we get cut, that first searing, burning sensation, the sharp experience, that's an A-type receptor. Then we have the slow burn pain receptors. Those are C-type. They're also thin cables that go through your body, but they're not myelinated. They're not protected with that sheath, so they travel more slowly. And types of that pain experience would be like the slow burn that you experience after an injury or after you've worked out hard, like delayed onset muscle soreness. So two different pathways with different speeds that our body is processing both unconsciously, right, outside of our conscious mind, and consciously, we're aware of it. Let's kind of create some categories for pain. So we have the pain of a cut, of something penetrating that external armor we have that separates the inside of our body from the outside world. Danger associated with that, possible even like muscular tearing, depending on how deep it is beneath the surface. Very rapid, hot, then throbbing. We have delayed onset muscle soreness, the pain that you experience 2 or 3 days after a heavy workout. Also deep aches. Further inside can come with fatigue or a general sense of not wanting to move an area, maybe a fear of injury. Let's move into injury. Another type of more C-type pain, usually the throbbing that happens after some piece of our body has been hurt. It needs to repair. There's also visceral pain, like stomach aches, headaches, organ issues. That's also a different experience because the nerves inside of our body have less conscious communication with our mind. If they didn't, I would be so distracted by my digestive processes that I probably wouldn't ever get my shit together to accomplish anything in life. You too. So that type of pain is accompanied by malaise, a sense of ill at ease inside of your body. Could also have fatigue or other symptoms, but different. Now tattooing is different than all of them because as opposed to a cut, which is rapid but also over, this is sustained penetration beneath the skin. Our skin is hypersensitive. And if you'd like to know how a tattoo might feel on different areas of your body, it's very easy. Just take your fingernail and trace it over your skin. So if you try that even on your forearm, on the top of it where it's hairy versus the inside where it's not. Or get into your armpit or here. You'll very quickly notice that there are heightened sensations on different places in your body. That gives you a pretty good map of where you're going to be more sensitive to tattooing and less. So because this is sustained penetration through the skin, we have both A-type and C-type receptors being stimulated, but it's less sharp than a cut. Also, a big differentiation with tattooing is I know it's going to happen and I invited it in. So that's different than something that's an assault on our body where our body had no warning or didn't consent to the experience. Having had both of those things, I have this opportunity to work with my mind-body responses to what's going on to close the pain pathways, to have this not be something that's disruptive or chaotic inside of my own personal experience, and instead have some ownership over that. And this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Different pain management techniques that we can use for tattooing, or hopefully other things that stay with us. So maybe how do we work with an injury long term, or visceral discomfort, etc. A lot of this also has to do with vagal nerve stimulation, because that's the pathway to tell my body that it is safe and that it can slow down its responses and have more agency.